And welcome everybody to another exciting day here at National Day Calendar. Yes, it is National Superhero Day. It's also National Blueberry Pie Day. I think they kind of go together, David.
They absolutely, man. Hey, what day can't we celebrate everything, Marlo? Everything
That's
goes together, right? Doesn't matter
that
what
is
the time.
true. It's also Bravehearts Day today, which, kind of is interesting, for you and what we're going to be talking
Yeah,
about in a little bit. But we'll let people gather into the room a little bit here, David. We're going to have some great prizes that we're giving away today as well.
understood.
So that'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about the Field of Dreams, which
Yeah.
is so awesome. And no, if you're just joining us, it is not National Want to Have a Catch Day today. However, we wanted to talk a little bit about this before the actual day to let everybody know that this is the first ever coming up
Yeah.
here on May 10th, which is it's normally, or I shouldn't say normally. David, it is that's the second Saturday of May, correct? Every year.
It it is, Marlo, and we chose that for a reason. The initial movie, Field of Dreams, did its major release. It had a limited release before, but on May 5th, 1989. And of course, we didn't want to compete with Cinco de Mayo and
Oh
all
my
the other
goodness.
great National Day
Yeah,
calendar.
it's National Astronaut Day that day too.
Oh
So
my
you
God.
that would really be. You're right. There would be a lot of competition there. Yeah,
There would be. So we
yeah,
figure, and that day moves around the day of the week, right? So we're
yep.
like, man, wouldn't it be neat to pick a Saturday every year, a weekend where people can go out, have a catch, and have some fun? So we ended up picking the second Saturday. And you know what, Marlo? It's the weekend that we celebrate mothers too.
Yeah, that is true.
And how cool is that?
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit, David, about who you are
Yeah.
and what your affiliation is with National Want to Have a Catch Day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, of course, Marlo, first off, I'm a huge baseball fan, or we wouldn't be talking about National Wanna Have a Catch Day. And of course, I'm sporting one of the most iconic logos, Cooperstown authentic Sox vintage jersey. Uh,
So that is from the 1919 Sox, right? Isn't that the
yeah,
year?
it's around that era. I can't
Yeah,
I can't validate that this jersey is the exact replica, but it's so darn
yeah.
close to that era jersey, which
It's
was
so cool.
worn in the Field of Dreams
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
And
That is so
so,
cool.
so for me, it all starts with love of baseball. I remember the first time, Marlo, I entered a baseball stadium and saw the green field, smelled the popcorn popping, but also loved just the beauty of a catch, right? The symmetry of people, in motion, showing an active lifestyle, this great motion of reciprocity going back and forward, which is a catch, right? And then, of course, in 1989, the Field of Dreams movie comes out with Kevin Costner and really becomes a part of Americana. And I fell in love with the movie the first time I saw it and have watched it dozens and dozens of times. It's an annual rite that my daughter, Sarah, who's now 25, would watch it right before the baseball season to get us going. And we decided, wow, this would make a neat national holiday, but not just for the catch, but for the visual metaphor that having a catch represents, which is also near and dear to me, which is, Marlo, I wouldn't be here today, nor would I be having catches with anyone, but for the generous donation of my brother in law, Mark. So, Mark, my brother in law, saved my life, Marlo, about 5.5 years ago
Mm.
on November 25th, 2019, by donating a portion of his liver to me. Most people don't know you can donate a liver while you're alive.
Yeah, and tell your story first, and then I want to get into that a little bit. So
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going there. This is so fascinating.
Yeah, so I had a rare autoimmune disease, Marlo, called primary sclerosing cholangitis. And it's not treatable until you enter end stage liver disease. And there's one treatment: transplant. either from a deceased organ donor or a living donor. And it was about 7 months before I went on the transplant list, about 6 years after my diagnosis. And about 7 months later, Mark emerged as my living donor to save my life. And you give a portion of your liver and it regenerates in both recipient and donor. So it's an amazing procedure that 100,000 people today are waiting either for a kidney or a liver. And with that waiting list, Marlo, there's not enough organs that come from deceased organs and donors' families that are generous enough to donate those organs after a family member is deceased. And so living organ donation for those two organs, liver and kidney, fills that gap, and it saves people's lives, because each national day that goes by, Marlo, that we celebrate, unfortunately, 17 people that will celebrate National Wanna Have a Catch Day that are on that transplant list of 100,000 won't be able to make memories on the next day, actually the next calendar day, right? So in our case, on May 11th, 17 of those people won't be around. So I was one of those lucky recipients. And we decided, my wife and I, to pay it forward by forming a foundation called the Living Liver Foundation, to do our part to raise awareness about the power and possibilities of living organ donation. And that's why we're launching National Wanna Have a Catch Day, is to pair my love of baseball, the visual metaphor, if you will, of the catch, or in some cases the first pitch, to get to zero wait list. And we can talk about some of the other reasons and why National Wanna Have a Catch Day, but that's kind of an accelerated version of my journey to paying it forward, and why we're so pumped to work with you guys to bring awareness to the great game of baseball, the beautiful act of kindness of having a catch, and the ability to honor living donors, and that great visual metaphor of baseball to save lives. What better way to celebrate a great National Day calendar event?
Yeah, it is. It is. And for those of you who are watching right now or listening, wherever you may be, if you have the ability to want to comment, in your social media feeds, go ahead and do that. I'm sure, David, you'd be happy to answer questions on this topic, right?
Absolutely, all day long.
Cool. And yes, we do have prizes, everybody. We're I know we're getting a little serious here for a little bit, and we're gonna get serious again in a little bit, but we're also about celebrating. We're gonna have a little fun. So
absolutely, baby.
And we always get all these amazing prizes here, David. That's what's so cool. And yes, we should have brought Mike up. You know how long it's been? I played baseball and then softball for, oh my goodness, 40 years. I started when I was 6, and I stopped playing when I was 46. I so love baseball. It was such a great, it is a great sport,
It really is.
But anyway, we have some great prizes. So first off, we're gonna give out the Knockout Family of Roses. They sent us this amazing hat or cap and a Stanley. These things are really highly sought after yet, aren't they? These are amazing, right?
Man. Hey, can I win one of those? I think I'm excluded because I'm the guest, Marlo. What the heck,
And then we also have some Crayola stuff we're gonna give away. You're gonna get some National Day swag as well. And it's real easy, everybody. The first one we're going to do is our standard. Just pick a number between 1 and 1,000, 1 and 1,000, and just post it in the comments. And if you're closest to what Google picks, and we're going to let this one run for 24 hours. So tomorrow we will pick a number at this time. So whether you're watching us live or you're catching it after, tonight or in the morning tomorrow or whatever, you can still participate. Just put a number in there between 1 and 1,000. If you happen to tag hashtag Wanna Have a Catch Day, we'll throw some extra stuff in there. So put your number in for the prize, and if you win and if you've tagged hashtag Wanna Have a Catch Day, we'll throw some extra stuff in there. So make sure you do both. So David, tell me a little bit about, I have to admit, I didn't know that the liver regenerated until I read this. I don't think most people do.
No, it's amazing, Marlo. And it's one of the things that my wife, Lynn, and I recognized in this journey, right? It's interesting. I did not know when I went down this journey that it was possible either and that the liver regenerated. But my wife, Lynn, loves the medical shows, right?
Yes.
Grey's Anatomy, all of the
Yeah.
stuff, and has been watching them all the time. And she goes, Dave, I recall a episode on Grey's Anatomy when they talked about transplanting a liver from a living donor. And maybe we should explore that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So it shows the power of media. It shows why we do things like this Facebook Live event and these types of things, is you never know when that information can be translated. That's why we do living donor awareness games at Major League and minor league baseball to build that awareness. Why we're launching National Wanna Have a Catch Day, that most people don't know that, right? So it's building that awareness. So she was aware, and then we went down this journey, and then we started to learn more about it. Here's what's crazy, Marlo. It's the only organ in the human body that actively regenerates. So the liver is two lobes, the right and left lobe.
Okay.
And when you get a living organ donation, they usually take in the United States your right lobe, which is about 65% of the liver mass, from the donor. In this case, my brother-in-law, Mark, would go to me. And then that 65% would regenerate in me as the recipient up to full size, get this, within 8 weeks.
That's incredible.
It's unbelievable, Marlo. And then in the donor, in this case, my brother-in-law, Mark, it would regenerate to full size too, in one lobe in 8 weeks.
Wow.
So now you have both donor and recipient with full size livers within 8 weeks, fully functioning, and a return to a normal and active lifestyle. It's pretty amazing. Now, what's interesting, Marlo, for me is I actually ended up getting 35% of the liver, because it was in the best interest of Mark from a safety standpoint to donate the smaller portion. And because of my size, they knew it would regenerate and I'd be safe in that journey. And I made that point, Marlo, for one reason. As living donors go through the process of becoming a living donor, the medical professionals that are involved at the transplant centers ensure that the number one priority, you can guess it, Marlo, where is it placed on?
I would imagine on the donor.
The donor.
Yeah.
All decisions are based on the health and safety of the donor.
Yep.
And I think that's a message that people need to hear is, yes, the liver regenerates. You can become a living donor, but going through the transplant process, you go through a medical workup that says you are in the top shelf medical condition that presents no risk for you to become a living donor. And throughout that entire process, we're going to make every decision in the best interest of the donor. When I say no risk, let me be clear. Any surgical procedure has some modicum of risk.
Yep.
But as it relates to risks that we take on every day, like getting in a car and driving, those risks we just assume without thinking about. And if we look at the statistics of living organ donation, it's statistically less risky than normal activities that we would do every day. And we just assume those risks all the time.
Yep. And if you're just joining us, everybody, David is talking. He's here with National Wanna Have a Catch Day, which is a brand new national day. It's so cool.
How about it, Marlo?
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah. I see that you're prepared here. And that'll be coming up on May 10th this year. It's the second Saturday in May. And they will have an event at the Field of Dreams, and we're going to be talking about that shortly as well. Also, we're giving away some great prizes. Get your guests in between 1 and 1,000, 1 and 1,000. Chris, you're getting the details up there right away. I appreciate that, Chris. So yeah, if you're close by, and I guess I shouldn't say that I'm assuming that you have tickets that you need to sell for these things, right, David?
Yeah, people can buy them on site as well.
Oh, they can walk up and buy them.
They can. Happy to
Okay.
have them walk up. Chris is sharing the ticket link there as well. Here's what's great. It's a great family day, right? So 13 and above have to buy a ticket. Under 13, it's free. We want to encourage families to come on out. The tickets are $40 to be a part of the entire ceremony, which will be from we have the field available, the actual Field of Dreams that's in the movie available for this private event from 11 to 5 o'clock. So you can come on out and have a catch, buy a ticket online, or walk up and participate in that. And then what's great too, Marlo, is we're seeing a lot of people around the country that may not be able to get to Dyersville, Iowa. It's a bucket list item. We'd love you to come, drive, fly in. We got people coming from California, from Michigan, from Florida. They're coming from all over because it's a bucket list item. And they get a private catch on the field on the inaugural National Wanna Have a Catch Day. There can only be one first, Marlo.
That's right.
So they're flying in from all over. But we also want to let people know, just aware of the day, the ability to do a couple things. One is you can have a catch with yourself. That's a beautiful thing. Get outside, enjoy it. We had a great promotional video shot by Dwyer Brown, who's a huge supporter of it, right? He shot us a video and he had a catch with himself right on video for us. So go out and have a catch with yourself wherever you're at. Post hashtag Wanna Have a Catch Day, or go out and have a catch with a neighbor. Go out and find someone in the street that maybe you haven't talked to. Carry 2 gloves, have a catch, post it up on social media. And then we're even having baseball teams that are practicing or have a game filming Want to Have a Catch. I just got off a call from we do an annual living donor awareness game in a great independent minor league called the USPBL up in Michigan. They have 4 teams in it. It's an independent baseball league, and they start a little bit later than traditional baseball. So they're starting, I think, their season in a couple weeks in May. So their spring training's happening now. They're doing tryouts, great college baseball players that are entering minor leagues for the first time. They're trying out. They'll be part of the 4 teams. But here's what they're going to do. On National Wanna Have a Catch Day, at Jimmy John's Field, which is where they play their games, those teams are going to be out there having a catch from a minor league baseball stadium. So those of you watching, go to your local high school game, encourage your high school team, your grade school team, heck, your t-ball team. Go out and have a catch, post it, have fun with someone else, and know that you're creating awareness around living organ donation by doing it. And for those people in the transplant community, Marlo, we're encouraging them to get with their living donor. If he or she is close by, go out, have a catch, post it up on social media, and celebrate the fact that you get a special moment to be with someone else and do one of the most personal, cool acts that this is, this beautiful reciprocity, this give and take of one and another, the beautiful rhythm of having a catch and being together as community. And we love that because we know today around the globe, connecting with other humans, that's what we want.
Absolutely.
Why not go out and have a catch and be a part of Americana?
All right, everybody, just get your guesses in between 1 and 1,000. 1 and 1,000. We're going to wrap up this first contest here in just a minute or two. So pick a number between 1 and 1,000. Put the hashtag Wanna Have a Catch Day in there, and you'll get some extra prizes as well. We got some great prizes that we're giving away today too. So yeah, and we're getting some great comments in here too. Joe played with her Louisville Slugger with her cousin at a park. That's cool. She's also pointing some peanuts and Cracker Jack, of course. Love me some peanuts and Cracker Jack at a ball game. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, and we'll be singing "Take Me Out to the Ball
Oh,
Game"
I love it.
at our event at the Field of Dreams movie site. We got so many cool things happening on site there to honor living donors, and we're also big in honoring veterans as well. So we've got the local American Legion going to bring out their color guard as part of it. We'll have veterans that were recipients as veterans, and also amazing veterans that served our country, but then also continue to give by becoming a living donor, right?
Very cool.
You talk about acts of service from people that continue to serve our country. We see an amazing amount, Marlo, which is interesting as we see it, of first responders and veterans of our armed services who have that. I don't know if it's genetic, I don't know if it's learned, but they have that ability to serve others and want to serve others. And they are a great group of people that step forward to save lives through living organ donation.
I don't know. I see Chris pop up here. I don't know if he wanted to join us for a second. Chris, did you have something to add?
No, I was just wondering if we wanted to tug at people's heartstrings for a little bit.
We'll say that again.
We're going to tug at some people's heartstrings.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah, we'll just pull this up here quick.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch? I'd like that.
Amazing. I need to watch that movie again.
There's something about that movie and that scene that gets me every time. And I want to tell you a personal story with that setup. So my dad's 87 years old, and my mom and dad are both huge baseball fans. They're the ones that dragged me to my first game. They didn't have to drag me. They just had to hold my hand, and I skipped gleefully to Old Tiger Stadium in Detroit. But I want to tell a very personal near-term story. So my dad's 87, and in the last couple months, he's suffered 3 strokes and a heart attack, and he's still with us. Incredible grit. But he's in a skilled nursing facility doing outpatient PT and OT. So I went to visit him a couple weeks ago. It was actually April 17th. And I'm visiting. We're getting ready, having dinner. And it just concluded. And I said, well, Dad, still getting some mobility back. I said, let's get you in the wheelchair and let's go around the facility here and see what's going on. So we start wheeling down towards the major cafeteria. And they have these beautiful boards up that have each day of the week, right, with the activities that are going on in the facility. And on Thursdays, April 17th happened to be a Thursday, they have a movie of the day, okay? And so I'm like, okay, Dad, well, let's see what the April movies are. And they had a theme. It was baseball, right? Because baseball's kicking off in April. So I'm going down each of the Thursdays, and I get to April 17th, the day I'm visiting my dad, okay? And this will blow your mind. And it says, Field of Dreams. And it's got the picture of Kevin Costner there. And I go, oh my gosh, when is it showing? And it says 4 o'clock. I'm like, Dad, and I look at my clock, it's about 5:50. I'm like, oh my gosh, Dad, we got to find where this is showing, right? You want to see this? Like, absolutely, Dad, we got to see it. So we're wheeling around the nursing home. I'm going, where do I see this? And they're like, well, I don't know. And they're like, we ran into his physical therapist. And she goes, well, I don't know, but come follow me. We'll find out. So we race down the hall and they go, oh, you don't have to be in any spot. You can just go back in your room, tune into channel 30, and that movie plays on a loop. And I'm thinking, well, we might have just missed it. Let's go in. But we sit down, we wheel up, and on channel 30, Field of Dreams, only about a fourth of the way done. So it must not have started at 4 o'clock. So my dad and I got to have one of the most magical moments watching Field of Dreams together. And that is what is so special about the movie is our shared catches and memories with our fathers, with our mothers, with our children that make that movie timeless, because it talks about connection, it talks about redemption, it talks about the human journey and the ability to repair it with the simple act of having a catch. And I'm a believer. I have a lot of faith in God, and that was such a God wink, because my dad won't be able to travel with me like we had hoped he might be able to be at the inaugural event. But you know what? He's in my heart, and we had that special Field of Dreams movie, which spurred wanting us to form National Wanna Have a Catch Day. So I wanted to share that, because that's the emotional connection that we have to the movie and that everyone has about their baseball memories and about special people that share the love of baseball or softball to have a catch.
So something just happened, Dave. So I think we're streaming on some, but we're not streaming on everything. We got bumps somewhere along the line here, but
Okay.
we'll just finish, and then we'll just publish it a little bit later if that's okay.
It is. That's
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah, let's do
Wonderful. So I want to know a little bit more. Well, first of all, first question is what's the closest major airport to Field of Dreams?
Yeah, there's multiple ones. The one that usually people fly into is Cedar Rapids, but it
Okay.
depends on, their flight path. There's 3 different airports that go in, and on our site that's listed here, we've got a tab on there that'll allow people to check the 3 airports. MLB, as you may or may not know, built another stadium on the Field of Dreams movie site and has hosted major league games.
Yeah.
So we created a great link there that's tied to the MLB site and their prior games, that gives all of the airports, the best ones to fly in, depending upon where in the country you're coming to. For us, coming from Detroit, we're going into Cedar Rapids, and it's about an hour or so to the movie site. And we're really honored to be able to do the event with 2 other groups there. One is the Iowa Donor Network, which actually is the organ procurement organization, or the organization that provides the services for deceased organ donors, but they certainly are very involved in living donor. And their team, their state team, Team Iowa, is playing in the game.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you what they're going to be playing for in a moment, but I'll finish this thread. So Iowa Donor Network has a state team called Team Iowa, that every 2 years, Marlo, competes in what's known as the Transplant Games of America.
Okay.
And it happens in every even year. We just did it last year in 2024 in Birmingham, Alabama. It's next going to Denver, Colorado, and it's an Olympic-style competition of 20 sports where transplant recipients, donors, and donor families come to compete in those games for actual medals. And it ranges anywhere from low-impact sports like Lyrics for Life, which is a singing competition, to a dancing competition, to cornhole, to trivia, to poker, all the way up to traditional Olympic sports like cycling, track and field, swimming, basketball, volleyball, and we compete in those games. And so Team Iowa sends almost 100 athletes every 2 years. So they've got their softball team that is going to be playing against Team Wisconsin, another team that competes in the transplant games every 2 years. And we've created a trophy that's called, of course, given what we're wearing, the Shoeless Joe Trophy.
Oh, I love it.
That'll be the charity softball game that'll kick off at 1:30. That'll be between Team Iowa and Team Wisconsin, and some special guests. So we'll have 2 ghost players, one on each team, that actually were in the movie.
Oh, wow.
And so they're going to take some at bats. They'll be there to take pictures and tell stories of shooting the movie with Kevin Costner and, of course, Dwyer Brown, who's you saw there playing catch with Kevin Costner and the characters of Ray and John Kinsella. So they'll be there telling stories. Then we've got several people that literally went a whole calendar year having a catch with someone else, 365 days of catch. A gentleman by the name of Ethan Bryan, who wrote a great book on it. He's going to be there, and he'll get a special guest at bat. Kevin Negard, who followed his lead a few years later and raised almost $370,000 for a miracle field in Iowa, which is to allow those that are physically or visually challenged to play sports on a miracle field. He'll be there to participate. He'll get a guest at bat. And we're really excited about it. And the other sponsoring organization, as you can imagine, with two teams playing from the transplant games, is the Transplant Life Foundation. So we're really honored to collaborate because we believe that's what solving the 100,000 wait list is. It's collaborating with other organizations with a common goal, a zero wait list. And we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun doing it. We'll honor living donors, and they'll throw out the first pitch. They'll sing the national anthem. We'll do all kind of Savannah Banana antics between innings to make it a lot of fun. And then, of course,
Those guys cracked me up, by the way.
oh my gosh.
I love that the umpires even get involved.
Isn't it amazing, Marlo? And that's the beauty of reinventing baseball, you know? I mean, they're doing such a great job. So it'll be a ton of fun at the Field of Dreams movie site. And Marlo, with the designation National Day Calendar, we're going to do it there every year because we have a vision. Marlo, we have a vision.
Why don't you share the vision with me, David?
2029, okay? 40th anniversary of the Field of Dreams movie site. We've already had Dwyer Brown involved in this initiative, and he's going to be in Japan, so he couldn't be there, but he shot us a great promotional video that's on the site. People can check it out, having a catch. But here's our vision. Not only will Dwyer be there, and I've told him to try to pencil it in his calendar, but Kevin Costner. We're going to get Kevin Costner, that's our vision, to recreate that catch on National Wanna Have a Catch Day in honor of its 40th anniversary.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And it'll come back to launching it this year. So that's our vision, to have a ton of fun seeing that happen. So what else you got for me, Marlo? I know in this type of thing, there's probably more. You can tell I'm so fired up about it, man.
I
don't
can
even
tell.
need questions, baby. I just keep going on.
I think well, first of all, we should give away some more prizes, right?
Let's do it.
So let's do it. We have the same prize package again. We're just doubling it up. Everybody, you're going to get this Stanley cup. People love these things. You're going to get this cap from Knockout Family of Roses. Great little brand right here with some Crayola stuff, some National Day swag as well.
Love
Pick
it.
a number between 1 and 1,000. Again, we were going to run a different contest today, but this is so fascinating. I just think we'll just run the same contest over again. Everybody, you see it right there. Just pick a number between 1 and 1,000. Tomorrow, about this time, we'll let Google randomly select a number. If you're closest, you actually win the prizes. It's as simple as that. You hashtag Want to Have a Catch Day, and we'll throw in some extra stuff for you. So it's real simple. Pick a number, put the hashtag Want to Have a Catch Day behind it, and you're going to get all kinds of prizes if you're one of the fortunate people to win. So make sure you get your guesses in right now, or whenever you're watching, you'll have that opportunity to win. So,
Awesome.
On the kidney side now.
Mm-hmm.
So a person can survive with one kidney, correct? I mean, and it doesn't really impact your life at all, right?
No. That's the beauty of it. And what's interesting, Marlo, when we think about the difference between the organs, right? Why there's more awareness that you can donate a kidney is because you have two, and people have become aware that you only need one. So they're able to understand that because the math works for them. But there's a tremendous need, Marlo, for living kidney donors to step forward. because 90,000 of the 100,000 that we talked about are kidneys.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
So you've got 90,000 waiting for a kidney, about 10,000 for a liver, and these are national statistics. And what's amazing about it is there are also then, Marlo, because of the great invention of dialysis, individuals can extend their lives beyond, if you will, end-stage renal or kidney disease, but their quality of life significantly diminishes when they're on dialysis over a period of years. And sometimes that wait list before you get a transplant is up to 5 years on dialysis, and unfortunately, people don't make it. So when we think about the need, Marlo, not only is it the 90,000 that are currently on the wait list, but all of those that may be on dialysis that haven't yet entered the wait list, right? So the need is even greater on the kidney side. And here's the deal, both for liver and kidney, Marlo. That's what's so hopeful and inspiring about living organ donation transplant is we have the technology, we have the cure, we have the tools. We're not chasing a cure. And all the nasty diseases like cancer and all of the other ones that are killers out there. Yes, ALS, we need to continue to fund that research. All for it. But what's interesting about living organ donation is that cure exists today. It exists today. And if we think about it statistically, baseball's into huge analytics, right? So as a baseball fan, I am too. And I applied analytics to the United States of America to say how solvable this is. We already talked the technologies there. We know there's transplant centers that have perfected this for decades and continue to. Innovations in robotics, surgery, et cetera. But here's the data. Here's the analytics, Marlo. There's approximately 330 million people in the United States of America. If you look then at the core donor age, 20 to 60, right? You can donate above that and below that, but let's use those because the census data tracks it in decades. If we were just to have, and here's the stat, 0.06%, 0.06% of living donors step forward from 20 to 60 in the United States of America, you'd have zero wait list. For kidneys and livers. 17 people a day wouldn't die. So all we're trying to do is get heroes to step forward. And why National Wanna Have a Catch Day is important is we honor those heroes. We educate the public, and what we hope is they'll be inspired to learn more or actually become a donor by telling those stories. And that's what we want to do with it. So the need is acute. It's there. And I also want to let people know, Marlo, what we're on kind of the, the need for it, how it works, what happens is when someone becomes a living donor, the recipient's insurance picks up all of the medical expenses for the workup. When I say the workup, meaning the medical evaluation that includes a variety of medical tests to ensure that the donor is able to donate and healthy enough, and a psychological exam, and then a years-long follow-up care related to the organ donation. So that is a key thing. And then the other thing we're seeing around the country that's critical that oftentimes donors have concerns about, it's the financial impact on them. So you've got kind of the physical impact that they're thinking about, but then there's the financial impact. In the United States, you can't pay your donor. Like I couldn't pay my brother-in-law to donate, right?
Gotcha.
You can't do that. However, there are programs out there where expenses are picked up. So there are organizations that can pick up for the donors from the organizations, travel and lodging, childcare expenses, etc. But I'll give you an example about what we're doing in the state of Michigan, which is where I reside and where my organ donation occurred, is we're advocating through our foundation, the Living Liver Foundation, to reduce financial barriers. And one thing we did a couple of years ago is we got a bill passed into law that prohibits insurance companies in our state from raising premiums, canceling coverage, excluding living donors for life insurance, long-term care insurance, and disability insurance. So that reduces any concern about that. The second bill we got passed was a $10,000 state tax credit for the living donors, that if they have child care expenses, lost wages, or travel and lodging, they get a dollar for dollar state tax credit in the state of Michigan. And I know we got listeners all across the United States and all across the globe.
Yep.
But why I bring that up as an example in the state of Michigan is for you that are out there that may be a lawyer or a lobbyist or in the transplant community that happen to be listening to this. This is a bipartisan issue that passes quickly. Go talk to your legislators about living organ donation and its importance and the need to pass laws. And we've got one more that's coming up in the state of Michigan where we're going to get an employer tax credit for paying the wages of a living donor beyond their employer's leave policy up to 12 weeks. Again, dollar for dollar tax credits. So they don't say, I can't become a living donor because I can't afford to.
Right.
And if we can remove those barriers state by state and eventually get the federal legislation that gets introduced every 2 years, but never goes all the way through the federal process to become law. So we're attacking it at the state level. The more we can do that, the more living donors step forward, the heroes, the angels on earth, without having to have any financial concern. So I encourage people to think about that, because someday you or a family member may be in need of a kidney or a liver. And the more we get out and talk about it, Marlo, and you may have it in your own circle of friends or family, you know of people that have had transplants.
Sure.
Or are in need of one.
Yep.
It's really close. It's more than the 6 degrees of separation of Kevin Bacon. It's usually 1 degree of separation, right?
It's funny.
And do you guys have a national day about the 6 degrees of separation, or Kevin Bacon Day? When is that?
Oh, well, we have a bacon day.
Yeah, you got to have a bacon day, of course, Marlo.
December 30th, There
we go.
It's not about Kevin Bacon, but I think a lot of people do pull him into that. And he's active in this space too, which is interesting. So so on a personal note, I want to know how you feel.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I feel great. One of my items is to also show that you can live a very active lifestyle, after. So I've resumed all of my activities that I did previously. Again, I love baseball. I love golf. I love running. I'm a long distance runner. And just getting out and being active is so critical. And that's one of the other reasons, Marlo, why we launched National Wanna Have a Catch Day, is we want to encourage an active lifestyle. And here's why. When you think about a lot of, on the kidney side particularly, there's a lot of items like hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes that in some cases can lead to liver and kidney disease. And having a catch with a loved one is a way to demonstrate an active lifestyle. Imagine if you got out and you had a walk and you had a catch every day, how it could reduce the amount of issues that people experience before they may be in need of a transplant. And so I get out and very active and try to do that.
Sure. I believe our ESPN was working there, because I was just looking at the notes I have here. Playing catch burns 120 calories in 30 minutes. There you go.
Think about that. Right there, right?
Hand-eye coordination, which can lead to many things, for improving your life, and also releases feel-good endorphins. So there you go.
I love it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the medical reason to go out and have it. And I think that's really neat. I'd like to highlight one other thing, which is really cool, Marlo, around it. So we talk about active lifestyle for National Wanna Have a Catch Day. We talk about the visual metaphor of the catch for living organ donation, right? The donor throwing to the recipient. It doesn't get any more visual than that, right? Nope. And you're demonstrating an active lifestyle. But there's a third thing that I'd love to highlight that was shocking to me in a cool way. So I got to know the CEO, Jacqueline Lindsay, of an incredible foundation called kindness.org. The word kindness, KINDNESS.org. And Jacqueline and I happened to be at an event about a year ago, literally about a year ago, that we were speaking back to back. I was speaking on my journey of living organ donation and leadership lessons learned, and she was speaking about her foundation and the Kindness Foundation and how they spread kindness, right? And so we're both practicing, our speeches beforehand, mic check, our visuals are working, and we were going to speak back to back. So this was early morning. And so she's hearing some of my snippets as I'm making sure mic check. And as soon as I was done doing the mic check, I was getting ready. You take off the lavalier, you hand it over to her, and she's like almost like trembling and opening up her laptop. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you all right, Jacqueline? Let me get this to you. It sounds like you're in a hurry, She's like, no, Dave, I couldn't wait to get up here. I'm like, well, what's going on? She goes, I want to show you something from academic research we've been doing about acts of kindness around the globe. They studied acts of kindness. Like, let's see which people rate them as like the top act of kindness. I'm like, well, tell me more. What spurred your excitement? And she goes, Dave, you wouldn't believe this. We just completed a massive study of tens of thousands of people with over 1,600 acts that have been asked in all these other surveys. And we lumped them all together and we said, let's find out what the number one overall act of kindness is. And here it is. The number one overall act of kindness is donating an organ to a friend as a living donor. And she's like, I couldn't believe it when this was your topic. So the number one overall act of kindness, scientifically proven out of 1,600, is donating your organ while you're alive to a friend.
That's amazing.
Isn't it crazy? And so we're partnering with them to spread the word of kindness, right? So you have a catch, you have the visual metaphor. It's a great act of kindness too.
It is.
So not only is it active, but you're demonstrating an act of kindness. So one of the things we're saying is, it's easy to go have a catch with a friend, but wouldn't it be cool for a lot of us in the Midwest and in the upper states in the United States? May 10th is what I like to call a Saturday that is usually the day that everyone comes out of hibernation, right? where everyone, the neighbors in the neighborhood, the kids are out riding bikes, and they're doing it because it's usually warm enough if you get a good day to reacquaint yourself with your neighbors that maybe you were driving in and going, man, it's a little bit cold outside, I'm running in. Have a catch with maybe someone you haven't met on your street, or go down to the park and play on the playground, bring your gloves, and go up to a stranger and say, let's have a catch. And hey, you know what? By the way, let's have a catch in honor of those heroes that are living organ donors that save lives every day. Wow, what an event that would be.
Well, David, you've been an inspiration today. I could listen to you for much more time here. So give us a little more information about the event, how people can participate either. Thank you, Chris. By heading over to Dyersville, Iowa, and going to the Field of Dreams movie set. There's the link for the tickets. Can people just donate straight up on there too?
They sure can. So if people want to donate to support the cause as well, right on the Have a Catch Day, they can either purchase tickets or donate to support it. It's going to be a great event. We're going to have hundreds of people descend upon the Field of Dreams, make their dreams come true by having a catch from 11 to 1 themselves. The game will go from about 1:30 to about 3:30. We'll award the Shoeless Joe Trophy to either Team Wisconsin, Team Iowa. We'll have lots of fun, as we talked about. Savannah Banana antics between innings. We'll honor living donors and donor families. And then after the game, from 3:30 to 5 o'clock, we will be also allowing people to come on, take pictures with the ghost players that were in the movie, wearing the iconic logo here, capturing great family photos. And the other thing is they can also hit the ball around And we've got a great brand that has been awesome to donate a couple of the bats that are taking by storm Major League Baseball. Bryce Harper actually used one from the Philadelphia Phillies about a week ago. These custom designed, really cool bats from Backyard Bats. And I got two that just came off the mill that they donated that I'll be bringing that Team Iowa and Team Wisconsin can use. Let's hope they don't break them early on, because then what we want is anyone after the game to be able to then hit the ball around Field of Dreams, maybe hit it over using these great bats that are designed by a company that is headquartered in both Windsor, Canada, and in Michigan. So come on out, have a great day. If you can't make it, go have a catch in the neighborhood. Hashtag wanna have a catch day. Because Marlo, here's what I know. Every day is a celebration. So why not go out and have a catch? We're so honored to be a part of the National Day Calendar and its inaugural launch of Wanna Have a Catch Day. As a living donor recipient that is in over 1,900 and I think 79 days of overtime because I shouldn't be here, I celebrate every day, and I can't wait till May 10 to celebrate Wanna Have a Catch Day. Thanks for having me on. Absolutely loved it.
It's been wonderful, David. I really appreciate it. Everybody get out, check out that website. Go out and just simply have a catch that day. That's all Dave's asking. Actually, if you want to participate a little bit more, that's fantastic as well. Chris just threw up the contest information. Go ahead and get your guesses in. If you're catching us a little bit later, we'll be giving away some great prizes 24 hours from now. David, we need to do this again.
I love it.
Hope to meet you in person someday. You never know. I'm telling you right now, you never know when I might show up on your doorstep.
Oh, hey, I can't wait. I'd love to have a catch with you, because what will mimic is Dwyer Brown's great line. He goes, I'd like that. So Marlo, I'd like that.
If we're showing up, do we have to bring our own gloves, or do you have some gloves
We'll
on hand?
have gloves out
Okay.
there. We'll have balls. Just come, bring yourself and have a catch. We'll have plenty of balls and mitts for people to just have a catch, snag that video or moment, and just enjoy being present in the day with a loved one or meet a new potential friend.
All right. Appreciate it, David. Enjoy your first ever National Wanna Have a Catch Day. Congratulations to you and your team on acquiring the new National Day. It's a very, very rare thing.
They are.
Congratulations on that. And we'll be looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks
All
so
right.
much, Marlo. Appreciate you
Take
and
care.
the National Day Calendar team.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.